Do you trust your government? Do you believe that they have your best interests in mind? Sure, they might perform crazy experiments and commit atrocities on those outside of the country, but they are supposed to support and represent their people. They would never do anything to break the trust of the people, would they? Welcome to the Crafty Cryptid, a channel dedicated to the dark, the mysterious, and the bizarre told in story form. If you enjoy this spooky story time, please subscribe and ding the notification bell. I upload multiple videos every week. Let me know in the comments below what chilling stories you'd like to hear next, and leave a thumbs up to help with the YouTube algorithm. When the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the world changed. Nuclear combat was a reality, and it would affect the way nations planned for and conducted military operations around the world. Of course, it took some time before the true nature of those weapons was fully understood. Atmosphere testing of nuclear bombs continued after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, resulting in the first hydrogen bomb in 1952. The Soviet Union followed in 1953. The mushroom clouds that occurred from the explosions released radioactive isotopes in mass quantities. The first comprehensive study of the problem of radioactive isotope release began in spring of 1949 with a one-man project called Gabriel, conducted by Nicholas M. Smith, Jr. at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Smith produced his first report in 1949. But the project was revived beginning in 1951 because bombs that were dropped had brought up concerns about the dangers of Strontium-90. Strontium-90 is a radioactive isotope of strontium produced by nuclear fission, with a half-life of 29 years. In its purest form, it is a soft silver metal, but quickly turns yellow when exposed to oxygen. Once in the body, SR90 acts like calcium and is readily incorporated into bones and teeth, where it can cause cancers of the bone, bone marrow, and soft tissues around the bone. After reviewing Project Gabriel in 1953, the United States Atomic Energy Commission gave it first priority status. The secret project would define, quote, practical limits for using atomic weapons. In 1954, the AEC persuaded the public that worldwide fallout was harmless because there was not enough evidence to prove that fallout would harm humans, animals, or crops. This claim was later disputed when scientists announced that there was no safe level of radiation, strike one for the US government. By 1954 and the Castle Bravo incident, it was obvious that the radioactive fallout was dangerous to humans. But exactly how dangerous? The government didn't have data on the effect of radioactive fallout on the human body. And given that no regular citizen would sign up to put their life in jeopardy for the curiosity of the AEC, a different strategy was needed. Enter Project Sunshine in 1953. Once thought to be a crazy conspiracy theory, the project was later confirmed to the public nearly half a century later. Project Sunshine was a series of research studies that began in 1953 to ascertain the impact of radioactive fallout on the world's population. Commissioned jointly by the United States Atomic Energy Commission and the United States Air Force Project RAND, Sunshine sought to examine the long-term effects of nuclear radiation on the biosphere due to repeated nuclear detonations of increasing yield. With the conclusion from Project Gabriel that radioactive isotope SR90 represented the most serious threat to human health from nuclear fallout, Project Sunshine sought to measure the global dispersion of SR90 by measuring its concentration in the tissues and bones of human beings. On January 18th of 1955, then AEC Commissioner Dr. Willard Libby said that there was insufficient data regarding the effects of fallout due to a lack of human samples, especially samples taken from children, to analyze. Libby was quoted saying, "I don't know how to get them, but I do say that it is a matter of prime importance to get them, and particularly in the young age group. So, human samples are often of prime importance, and if anybody knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will really be serving their country." This led to over 1,500 human samples being gathered. Many of the 1,500 sample cadavers were babies and young children, and were taken from countries such as the United States, Canada, Australia, and the UK, often without their parents' consent or knowledge. A British mother named Jean Pritchard had said that her stillborn baby's legs were removed by British doctors, and to prevent her from finding out what had happened, this grieving, heartbroken mother was not allowed to dress her little baby for the funeral. Jean was quoted in a British documentary called Deadly Experiments as saying, "I asked if I could put her christening robe on her, but I wasn't allowed to, and that upset me terribly because she wasn't christened. No one asked me about doing things like that, taking bits and pieces from her." In June of 1995, a Presidential Advisory Committee on Human Radiation Experiments, set up by former President Clinton, released classified documents from the Atomic Energy Commission, which showed that scientists working on Project Sunshine were aware of the dubious ethical and legal grounds on which their research was being conducted. And Dr. Willard Libby, the man who recommended body snatching, went on to win the 1960 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. So what's your take on this? Was Project Sunshine a horrible overreach by the US government? Or was it a necessary evil to prevent further damage from nuclear experiments? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. To be updated the next time I post spooky crafting content, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. If you would like to support the Crafty Cryptid, leave a thumbs up and a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for watching, and come back soon, Cryptids.